Bala's Paradesi. It's a soul-crushing movie. You will come out of it so depressed for no reason. In the sense that, okay, if you're going to be seeing something that you didn't know, and then you came out of it and you said, oh, that was revealing unknown facts to me, then you might, okay, learn something through the experience. But there's really nothing that you're going to see which you don't already know. The oppression of the poor is a regular feature in India. It's not that we don't know about it. And here it is made to look as if it is the white man doing it to us, so the plantation owners. But like everybody knows, the overseers are the ones who actually hand out the cruel acts. So the ones who should be blamed for whatever goes on is the Indians themselves. But anyway, let's go back into the thing. It's a story of bonded labor, in a way. They sign undertakings that they will work in a tea plantation, and they're taken away, lured away, much like the Africans were led away to slavery in the United States and sold out to plantation owners to work on their cotton fields. Here it is a tea garden. So it's set in some unknown place. It's not very, very clear where it is, but I presume it is somewhere in Tamil Nadu. And they're led away from this place, lured by this guy who comes down, offers them a rosy future and money, and they trudge their way up to this place. And it should have been very clear and apparent to them that this is not going to end up in a happy situation, because along the way, a couple of them just fall down, die, but the overseer just continues sleeping on his little cart. So it should have alerted the people. Maybe they didn't have too much brains. But anyway, they go up there into the hills, and then they're given their housing, and then they are under the control of this overseer and his bunch of goons who beat them mercilessly, and anytime somebody tries to escape, they are done to death or hurt grievously. And here, at the end of the term of their bonded labor, the guys come to renew the contracts, and then they read out their accounts that they'll earn so much by working. They'll pick so many kilos of tea leaves, and in return for that, the overseer has already paid him so much, or given them medical treatment, or some such thing. And they deduct everything to find that they are either minus, or in many cases, just about zero. But most of them, they go into the minus, so they are made to sign for further periods of time to work off the excess that they have been, that the overseers spent on them. And that was a very exploitative system. Bala could have used this movie to actually send a message to everybody in contemporary India today, that listen, this is how we are treating the poor and downtrodden of our country, and they are our countrymen. We are no longer a conquering people and a conquered people. This is our fellow countrymen, and we are still doing it. So you shouldn't be doing this. So send some message to people in the theatre, so that they come out of it, deeply immersed in some soul searching. Instead of which nothing happens. People just say, God, that was a terrible movie to sit through 2.5 hours or whatever of just soul-numbing, crushing wickedness being displayed by and sorrow. So they would have just filed out the theatre. I did. I mean, there were hardly any people to start with, but whoever was there, I didn't see a single tear in anybody's eye. I didn't even have a lump in my throat, because I've seen this all before. But I wish, as I said earlier, that they'd sent in a message. Atharva does his job as a chief protagonist in this movie. He's a young man forced into it. He falls in love with another young girl from his own tribe, played out by Vedika, and she's a pretty North Indian Punjabi girl, I think, and she comes out, I think she's been dumped into a bucket of brown dye, so she's stained brown all over her face. But she acts well enough, but it doesn't explain. I think most of these movies, they never explain why the heroine, who's invariably pretty and buxom, falls in love with the hero. I mean, here is this guy who's shown as a lout. He knows nothing. He just wanders around beating a drum. But yet, anyway, but that's the story. So she falls in love with him, and then they have an affair, and he, meanwhile, has signed his bond, and he goes away. And then he's going through some really miserable time where they catch him once when he tries to run away. Anyway, I don't want to disclose all the details. Go find out for yourself. But the movie ends on a totally depressing note. That is, this girl, who's by then born his son, she comes out also sign up as a laborer. So he's like shattered beyond belief. His heart-rending cry. But you could almost see the audience saying that, well, what did you expect? Anyway, this is what goes on everywhere. So, as I said, it could have done better. The colors of the movie, it's a color movie, but I thought everything in the movie was grey, different shades of grey. In fact, the cinematographer, of course, under instructions from Bala, has made even the green hills of the Nilgiris and the tea plantations, which is so pretty, even that it looks grey. So the dominant colors are grey, more grey, and probably black. So a very depressing film experience. I don't know what you're going to take away from the movie. Maybe cinematography to an extent, but otherwise it's depressing. And it doesn't prove a point. So I think that is the biggest failure of the movie, that it didn't touch the audience heart. They just want to escape from it. But still, hell, it's Bala, and he's a great director. Maybe he's going out on these new paths, trying to satisfy some inner cravings that he wants to show something completely different. But I hope he comes out of it and gets back into regular movie making, which will make him once again the director that we know. But that's Bala's Paradesi.